The Mancubus, the hulking behemoth of the demon world. This variation in Doom Eternal sports pre-existing man-made modifications, including armor plating augmentation and a sophisticated arm-mounted weapon system. And of course, you get to control it in the game's battle mode. A demon that can bully, sustain, and present multiple playstyles depending on the slayer that you're up against. It's certainly not easy to learn, but once you do, can shred HP in the blink of an eye and disrupt any fight that you want to. Join me once again for another tips and tricks, where we explore the possibilities of the Mancubus. The Mancubus has 3750 health as a base. That's quite a lot and can soak up a lot of punishment. The drawback to this is that you're significantly larger and easier to hit than most of the demons, so you still need to keep that in mind. You have access to a double jump by pressing your jump key again while you're airborne. It is mandatory for covering wide areas or to climb high surfaces, but during the jump you cannot fire in any way, so only use this for mobility. Your primary fire is a straight shot that deals decent damage on hit. However, after a certain point in its travel time, the projectile starts to dip, so you need to arc it slightly for max range targets. Alt fire is your main source of damage, a close range flamethrower. This melts Slayer HP, but the close range nature means that you must be in the right position to make it work. But you have lots of tools for that, and I'll explain them soon. Make sure you're using the full crosshair so that you can see how much flamethrower has been used and when it's back. Finally, you have a smoke bomb that blocks vision for a short time. This is vital for multiple reasons. It can disrupt Slayer combat up close because you still have the Slayer outline handy, but also it can be used at the start of rounds to shut down the chances a Slayer can poke at you with ranged weapons because they can't get a clear line of sight. Additionally, the smoke bomb doesn't dip like your primary fire does, making it far more precise and longer range if need be. When it comes to action sets, the Mancubus is quite interesting because both offensive and defensive have access to the haste action. You'll see why this is the case in a minute. The offensive set has the following: summon a Maker Drone for additional support. Be careful with this because you don't want to give up free ammo drops for the Slayer, but it can be really handy in a tight position for extra firepower. Summon a Cacodemon for ranged assistance, or just a large target to get in the way. Haste upgrades your movement speed for a short time. This is vital to the Mancubus because without haste, you just can't move really. But with haste, you can get into position faster, evade a Slayer that is chasing you down, although it is still tricky due to your size, but most importantly, stick to the Slayer like glue when peppering him with flamethrower. Time the haste correctly, and the Slayer will take massive damage while trying to escape you. Finally, the damaging aura creates a set area that will tick down HP in a rapid manner. It works wonders with your flamethrower for burst damage and is especially annoying during a smoke bomb because the Slayer can't see where they should avoid. Time this right and don't waste it and you'll be in a good place. The defensive action set offers a variation of playstyle. Summon a Prowler to disrupt, chase, and deal damage. Summon an Arachnotron for general beefiness, ranged option, and, for me, a clear line of sight on where the Slayer is. The Arachnotron is very obvious visually about where it's going, so you can use the Arachnotron and where it's looking to find a hidden Slayer in the arena. Just because you can't see the Slayer's X-ray doesn't mean an Arachnotron can't find him too. Haste is available once again, doing all of the same useful things. And lastly, summon a healing area that heals you as you stand in it. It is very self-explanatory, but very useful. Now, we can discuss both action sets against each other for hours, but for the Mancubus, I encourage you to try them both at depth. Depending on the demon ally that you have, the offensive set can trap, bully, and delete a Slayer in the blink of an eye. And if your teammate has the defensive set with healing added, you are a massive source of damage output. Haste is amazing for getting to that sweet spot of flanking, and the damage aura will shut down key locations while your flamethrower takes care of the rest. That said, I find myself using the defensive one more because of the healing field on command. It's incredible for keeping your already massive HP count at a healthy amount while playing a defensive style. You already have tons of damage as a base, and I thoroughly prefer the demons you summon with this action set. You can play a highly defensive game using heal to stay healthy, while your summoned demons are really good for chasing, disrupting, and all round being generally useful. When the time comes, trap and chase with the haste action and finish the job with flamethrower. Take the action set that suits your style of play, but I highly encourage you to try them both. Such is the nature with Battle Mode, the Mancubus has two unique end of round upgrades, and both of them are useful. Hot Like Fire recharges your flamethrower 100% faster. It is simple, effective, and it makes your flamethrower damn good. Quick Smoke is a really big one for me. After using your smoke bomb, you move 50% faster for 3 seconds. It takes the natural usefulness of smoke bomb, and it gives you a speed boost on tap without having to overcommit to haste if it's not as vital, effectively giving you 2 speed boosts at any given moment, and smoke bomb is available far more often than haste is. Quick Smoke makes Mancubus a chase down machine during fights, and you can smoke bomb a teammate for cover while closing the distance yourself to get involved a lot quicker. And now for the tips and tricks that I suggest Mancubus players get the hang of to speed up your learning process. I'll cover some weaknesses too, because you will definitely notice some of them from an early point. The Mancubus can flank for days. As long as the Slayer is being pressured, you can always keep that escape option or alternative route in mind to cut off if a Slayer tries to get away from you. If you have a Quick Smoke, using both that and haste lets you reach those positions much more effectively. Also, Mancubus can camp a teleporter exit better than almost any demon in the game, a total shutdown. This one sounds tricky, but get used to other indicators of where the Slayer is during fights if you can't see him during the smoke bomb. Smoke bomb may cloud his vision, but it does cloud yours as well. If you don't know the maps or have bearings over where your position is at the time, you can sometimes get stuck to walls and generally not be that useful. The more you learn the maps, the better you can be at navigating through the smoke without seeing where you're going, and believe me when I say it makes a huge difference. If you can't see the Slayer in a fight, listen for him. You can hear his location just as well because of his gunfire, his movement, anything he's shooting at the time. It helps you get through the smoke to contribute a lot more as a result. This is easier if his X-ray is showing, but it's not always showing. Your biggest setback as the Mancubus is your size. You are easy to hit, which means that even a Slayer without amazing aim can still probably hit you regularly. This means you have to show a lot of respect to range options, but even using certain cover still has some of your model poking out round corners. Smoke bomb is mandatory for that, and so is use of speed boosts if you need to reposition quickly. Another major setback you'll face is that A, your primary fire likes to get stuck on terrain, and B, body blocking is a huge pain. Demons will block your way and cut off your movement sometimes, and if there are too many demons on top of you, fights can get quite clumsy if you're trying to move around or escape, but your own allies are blocking your way. Another thing you have to be aware of because it will happen if you're not looking for it. Do not surround yourself with too many demons if you want to escape. An underrated gem of an upgrade to take is Tactician. It shaves off cooldown time of your actions and it makes them last longer. Let me tell you that having haste and healing way more regularly has saved our skin in way more competitive level matches against high rank players. You have more chase, more evasion, and way more sustain. Tactician and Quick Smoke combined gives Mancubus a lot more utility and movement. Look at it this way. Without Tactician, haste is over at the 35-second cooldown mark. With Tactician, it's over at 24 seconds. In the heat of a match, 24 seconds is not a lot of time to wait until haste is ready to go again. The same thing can be said for healing here. Without it, it's finished at 52 seconds. With it, it's 33 seconds for healing to return. You factor in the amount of smoke bombs you'll get and the demons that disrupt during this time, and you have a ton more sustain and means to keep the Slayer behind. Map start can make or break your momentum. In this clip, we go down 2 rounds convincingly because Armageddon is a map where we're stuck out in the open where we begin, Slayer gets a ton of damage on us all the time, and we just can't keep up. Our adjustment, on top of the upgrades to keep us better off for cooldowns, is to immediately go for a more covered position, and while getting there, I make it harder for Slayer to get those range shots. Here, we have way more cover, faster cooldowns on our healing and speed, and in every confrontation, we come off better because it's not as easy for Slayer to hit and run out in the open. Because we are much more close quarters, we won the long game, and I took an instant resurrect to make it even harder to nail us down. He runs out of ammo, and it's only a matter of time before he ran himself into the grave. Map start and positioning matters so much as a larger target, and you need to even those odds any way you can. Some maps are much harder than others. Well, that's it for the Mancubus today. I've had a great time learning this demon, and I will admit, it took a lot longer than I thought it would because frankly, it's not a particularly easy starting point. You have a lot of size issues to get through, and I find this demon demands a bit more of a battle mode understanding to make work than most. But even then, it is a great choice and a lot of fun. If you haven't seen my other battle mode videos, I encourage you to check them out. Thank you as always for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care.